There was one moment I remember where I'm cleaning, I'm cooking, I'm vacuuming, I'm mopping, I'm sweeping, and as I'm cleaning, the kids are coming behind me and making a mess at the same time. And it got to a point where like I kind of lost it.
Yeah.
Like, and I started yelling. And she had just gotten home at this point from work, and like she could see like I'm stressed.
Yeah.
And I'm sweeping and like they're playing with toys and getting all in the dirt pile and it's just doing the most. And I went in. I'm like, and like I raised my voice, but I was upset.
Yeah.
Right, because I was stressed out. Me and my wife were not seeing eye to eye, and I saw them as the problem. And when I did that, my boys were afraid of me.
Yeah.
At that moment, they looked at me like they jumped and they were scared of me. They were scared of their father.
Yeah.
And Alicia saw it, and she had to come and like get in between me and them. And at that moment, I was like, okay, I gotta chill.
Yeah.
I gotta chill. And she was like, it's okay. It's okay. I see what you're doing. I see you're trying. It's okay.
Yeah.
And later on that night, I sat the boys down and I apologized to them. And by me apologizing to them, Trip, my oldest, you know, he's the sensitive one, right? I'm in mid apology and I'm not even finished getting out what I'm saying. Yeah. He reaches over and hugs me. And hugs me tight.
Jeez. Woo.
All right, what's up, Dad?
Life.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
Yeah. But it's a good life, though, I have to admit.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, things are going well.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I stop and look back over my life, and I really can't complain. Because, you know, God's been really good to me.
For sure. For sure. Same.
Yeah. So Same. It's just, you know, it's being thankful for what you have.
Yeah.
Because there's always somebody whose life did not turn out as well as yours.
You know? Agreed.
So,
agreed.
Got to be thankful for that.
Yeah. Well, that's a heck of a way to start. It's a hell of a way to start. You know,
you gotta be thankful. You know, each day, you know, you need to be thankful.
Definitely. Well, this is episode 4 of Lil R&R. I'm Rodney. Everybody calls me RJ. And welcome to Lil R&R, the podcast, talking about everything fatherhood, sonship, marriage, wounds, healing, restoration, all the things. So last episode, we talked a little bit about father wounds, right?
Yeah.
Wounds that fathers sometimes inflict on their sons and on their kids, whether it's on purpose or not. But we talked about that and kind of how to deal with that and how to manage it. But we also wanted to talk a little bit about after you're wounded, or after a father wounds the child in some way, shape, or form. Again, whether it's verbal or physical or sometimes even sexual, whatever that looks like. And a lot of times these fathers are not apologizing and not making amends and kind of just brushing over it and hoping that, not even hoping, but just sometimes expecting time or expecting the kids to kind of get over the trauma that they deal with. So have you dealt with how whenever your fathers or father figures hurt you or offended you or you felt wounded by them in some way, shape, or form, Was there an apology? I know we touched on that a little bit last episode. Y'all go back and watch the last episode if you haven't. It's a really good one. But how did you deal with them apologizing if they didn't? How did you move on? Hey, we diving in head first.
Yeah. While you were asking the question, I was thinking of situations that that actually happened.
Yeah.
And I can't find any where I was actually apologized to.
So the father figures in your life actually didn't apologize.
Right, because that particular generation was what I say it is, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. It is what it is.
Yeah. If your feelings were hurt, they would have the attitude, suck it up, that kind of thing. I just don't remember any moment,
where they seemed apologetic,
right?
Yeah. So if those apologies that you were looking for, if those didn't come, which it seems like they didn't come after what you experienced, how did you move on from that? Because I'm sure that it's like a wound, right?
Yeah.
Like a physical wound that you may have, without it being treated, without it being mended, it becomes a scar. And it's easy for you to become bitter and kind of harbor those emotions. And those emotions can kind of turn into animosity at some point, right? If you're not careful. Right. So how did you keep from those emotions creating a scar inwardly and emotionally to where you didn't treat them?
It was hard. Yeah. It was hard because of my temperament, just who I am. Kind of a sensitive person.
Sure.
And introverted.
Yeah, that's where I get it from. As sensitive as they come. It is what it is.
So things that were said in the way they were said, it did hurt me.
Sure.
And depending on the gravity of the situation, the hurt was either deep or the impact was stronger. And so I had to deal with the lingering of my emotions.
Yeah.
And sometimes I carried it for days because I couldn't understand why, or why is this happening?
Yeah.
Why did you say it? Why did you say it like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know some of it was on me because of my sensitivity. So I had to kind of work through that.
Sure.
And I had to work through it because if I had not worked through it, I would have been real resentful and bitter.
Say more about working through it, because that can be sometimes a different process. Like you mentioned, because you're an introvert and because of your personality, you were kind of able to, I'm guessing, work through things internally.
Yeah.
To an extent, right?
Yeah.
But when you say work through it, what did that look like for you?
Well, as a man of the cloth, or just separate the man of the cloth thing. Just as a man, and as a Christian man, okay, if I'm going to put that on there.
Sure.
And I had to start working the principles of that, because the first thing I looked at myself, and I had to start working on myself.
Yeah.
And making sure that, I was justifiable, I guess, maybe feeling the way I felt. Well, let me say it this way: understanding why I was feeling the way I was feeling.
Sure.
I had to understand me, and I had to really ask God to help me, to let me see me.
Right.
First. So I had to work through that, through prayer. I was reading and just trying to get a handle on my emotions.
Yeah. And
that took work.
Yeah. So there's an amount of work that you did on your end, because I'm assuming that there probably came a certain point in your life to where you weren't looking for an apology, where you probably didn't expect
I got to the point where forget it.
So you had to make the choice to move on with your life.
I had to make a choice to move on.
And you did healing for yourself.
Yeah, and I did. And being at that crossroad and moving on, that was hard. Because there was a part of me that wanted to hold on to it. There was a part of me that felt like a victim.
Okay.
And I had to get myself together. Come on now. I had to really look at me. And I had to really apply some principles in my life to get past that.
Right. And I do want to talk a little bit about, like, for fathers that for fathers that don't apologize for the abuse or the trauma or the wounds that they cause on their sons or daughters, that a lot of times those fathers didn't get apologies from whoever raised them.
Right.
Right. And so they may not think that it's necessary, or they may still love the kid, the child, even though the child may grow to become an adult and everything like that. I've seen moments where the father who inflicted all this pain and turmoil on their kids growing up, their kids kind of found a way to deal with it, and they may have wanted to get that reconciliation, the apology from their father, but their fathers don't know how to apologize.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so their father probably feels like a lot of times, it's like, well, I did the best that I could, or I did all I knew how to do, or this, that, and the other. Like, look at you now. Like, some fathers feel like the turmoil that they put kids through made them better people.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, those kids turn into teenagers and turn into adults that are carrying all of these wounds. And like, sure, they may grow to become whatever version of successful we want to apply, but like, they're still holding on to these issues. And the father sometimes is like, well, you're welcome. You wouldn't turn out the way that you did.
I've heard that.
You know what I'm saying? You're welcome.
Yeah.
But that's not an apology.
Right.
And
really
and that doesn't do the kids any good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why it affected me so, because my natural father, I never remembered him talking to me in that way. I mean,
in what way exactly?
When I was offended or hurt or wounded, it was because of what they said and how they said it.
Yeah.
But my natural father never really, I don't ever remember him talking to me in that manner.
Sure.
So, and I think he probably understood his boys. I think he understood each one of us.
Yeah.
And I think he handled us differently.
Yeah.
But basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if a person, apology is important, because if fathers don't apologize, sometimes the children will hold those things,
right,
and they will be very resentful.
That's right.
To them.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing.
Yeah. And that resent, and that animosity, that bitterness, how can that manifest in other areas of their lives if they're not careful?
Well, I think it affects the wives, children, relationships in general, because I think situations in life will cause them to have trigger points.
Yeah.
And their response to the situation like that, and the other person saying, "Why are you acting like that?
Yeah.
Why what's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
Because it was a trigger point. It brought that resentment out.
For sure.
And that's why you really have to deal with it within you, because it will show. In life, when life starts lifing, it's gonna come out. It's just gonna come out.
Yeah. And like, a lot of times people don't know just how critical, their relationships with their fathers are, especially as they grow into, the teenage years and grow into adulthood, and then they end up getting married or not, or they end up having kids or not, or they're trying to hold down a full-time job, and they're wondering why they don't have enough discipline, or wondering why they may not have the I guess the discipline to show up for work, something as simple as that, or the discipline to take correction from their superiors or whatever, because they're harboring all this animosity and everything that they've been dealing with from their fathers. And especially if their fathers never reconciled or apologized for the whatever the abuse was or the wounds that was caused. So I think my next question would be like, whenever somebody is carrying this pain because their fathers never apologized, and maybe their fathers are like on the way out of here, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a son whose dad is like about to check out, getting his affairs in order, maybe in the hospital bed, and then all of a sudden, that's where you kind of would expect for apologies to come and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But a lot of times that still doesn't happen.
It still doesn't happen, no.
Right? So what happens, like, what do we do if that apology never comes? Ever.
You have to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else can you do?
Mm-hmm.
You have to accept it. And if it never comes, deal with that. Then you have to deal with you. Are you going to allow that to stunt your growth as a human being?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to use that as a stepping stone to make you better?
So talk a little bit about that, like using it as a stepping stone to make it better. And before we get into that, like I've talked to people, I've talked to guys who, you know, wanted their relationship to be better with their father, and their father's like, again, on his way out.
Yeah.
You know, and their father may be in the hospital room, cognitively not there.
Yeah.
And they're not able to reconcile. And sometimes the son ends up being the primary caregiver for the father that inflicted that amount of pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that may be a very specific nuance, but it happens more times than not. Or like we see times where the father may need something like a kidney, and the only other the only other blood type or blood relative is the son who had to deal with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's these circumstances where these fathers have inflicted this pain and stuff, these negative experiences on these kids, and these kids grow up and end up having to make the choice, the decision, where they're gonna, what they're gonna do, and so that's why I feel like this is so important to talk about, because it happens so often.
Yeah.
So what was my original question? You remember what my original question was?
The stepping stone.
Yeah. So like, I'm not gonna say we, because
how do you use that as a stepping stone?
How do you use it as a stepping stone?
Well, I think by no means am I an expert at this, but I think as a stepping stone, it comes down to choice.
For sure.
Okay, if the father is not going to apologize, and the father leaves, you're left with a choice, especially if you've been carrying that for all your life.
Right.
You're left with a choice. Either, okay, he's gone, either I'm going to forgive and move on or not. So you can take that as a lesson to build you up as a person. Because when you come to the point where you realize, in life, that I can't hold on to this because it's affecting my surroundings.
Yeah.
I choose to let the past be past. It's gone. I can't do nothing about it. He can't come back and apologize. It's gone. It's forever gone. So as a human being, as an adult, I have to say, okay, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to handle this? How am I going to deal with this? So you take actions. And I know some people have to go to therapy or different type of actions in order to build themselves up and to make that next step.
Right.
So it's not an easy thing, especially when you've really, really been wounded.
For sure. For sure.
And so you just have to, in my opinion, you just got to look at life, look at the reality of where you are. What are you going to do from now? What are you going to do now? And I think that as difficult as it may be, contrary to what some people say, God is still right there in the individual's hurt.
Yeah.
He's there.
And that's a tough pill for some people to swallow, because the question then evolves into, well, if God is there, then why didn't he do something about it? Right. And that's a question that is hard to answer, especially like the worse the abuse is.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, how in your experience with counseling couples and talking to men over the years, and is that a question that's come up? Like if God cares so much, then why did I have to go through this? Why did I have to experience that?
It does. And the thing about it is, they asked me that, I said, I don't know. I said, I'm not going to try to act like I know, because I don't know.
Right.
A lot of things happen in life that we don't have answers to.
Right.
A lot of things happen in life we will not have answers to. As much as we want them. Situations like that, it was never in God's intention for that to happen.
Correct. Correct.
And sometimes people, blame God for a lot of the stuff. No, and I don't want to go into a theological thing, but
Sure.
It's not God's fault. His intention was not for humanity to be as it is today.
Right.
But God is not on the outside of things. He enters into your suffering. He enters into your pain, into your wounds. Because that's why Jesus came. So he's not just outside spectating. He is involved in it.
Yep.
So he knows what pain feels like. He knows what wounds feel like.
Yep.
He knows what it's to be rejected.
Yeah.
By people.
Yeah.
Maybe someone want to say.
Sure.
But he understands what all that is. So when a person is going through that, he's right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's there for the purpose of healing that person.
Correct.
And the purpose of allowing that person to understand who he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to take certain steps. I mean, you have to. You can't do the God blame thing. You got to get past that. Some people never do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I was gonna say that's easier said than done.
Yeah, some people never do. And I tell people, I don't have the answer to that, but God can use this for his purposes in your life and your family's life.
Yeah. Because some people get to the point to where, especially like the worse the wound is, the worse the abuse that may have been inflicted by the father, the child, male or female, can sometimes get to the point of contemplating suicide.
Yeah.
And really trying to understand and grapple with life and asking those questions and not knowing how to deal with what they went through. Can you talk a little bit about the power of forgiveness on behalf of the child, even if that apology never does come? Like, why is forgiveness so important? Because we hear all the time, like, well, for you got to forgive and forget.
Well,
that's
forget.
That's a whole
Yeah.
thing. But then we also hear like that forgiveness is really for the victim, not so much for the perpetrator or the victimizer. So like, talk a little bit about the power of forgiveness and why that's so important, and sometimes just how to even do it.
Yeah, forgiveness is a God thing, and we were made in His image. Forgiveness, when you forgive, it's a healing that you receive for you.
Right.
It really is. It's therapeutic in that respect, because and then when you start understanding, I think we kind of hit on this. I think I said second episode that maybe kind of hitting, but when you understand the other person, their background, their roots, what they went through, you kind of look at it differently.
Yeah.
Forgiveness helps you to see that.
Yeah.
And forgiveness is something that.
Well, you said forgiveness helps you to see like their roots and their background and everything.
When you really look at it,
do you think that it's the other way around?
What you mean?
Looking at their background and their experience helps you to forgive, rather than forgiving helps you to understand that. You know what I mean?
No, say it again.
So like what you said was, when you look at their experience and forgiveness helps you to look at their experience and their background and why they made the choices that they did. But some people might say that when you look at their experience and their background and the choices, why they made those choices, that helps you to forgive them a little bit more. That helps like the forgiveness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's probably said it.
Probably said that. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, because when you really forgive, sometimes people really can't forgive until they actually understand their background, the other person's background.
Correct. Yeah.
And then they may say, "Oh, wow, so that's why."
Yeah.
So I think when a person understands why they did what they did, not justifying it,
correct,
but understanding it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you look at them and then you look at yourself, you find out you're not. You got issues too.
And that's the part that's, man, it's tricky, because nobody wants to look at themselves as having issues. Nobody wants to look at themselves as somebody that may be inflicting pain on somebody else because of the pain that you receive. And that doesn't, like you said, it's not an excuse for what happened. But whenever we're talking about forgiveness and talking about how to get there, having a moment of introspection and saying, like, have I apologized to other people that I've hurt? Like, have I, what does it look like for me to ask somebody else for forgiveness? Like, if I can't move myself to do it, regardless of what I did, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, regardless of how I hurt somebody, that I ask them for forgiveness. And, it's like, whether people know how to do that or not. And a lot of times, like, let's keep it real. Like, folks I'm not pointing fingers here, but folks in your generation, some of these boomers, like, they just like, because
Lord help us, Jesus.
You know what I mean? Because, like, you were, again, we've understood that, like, your experience growing up with your dad, even though it was for a limited time, like, you had a good father. You had a good man as your father, but obviously that's not the case for everybody in your generation and in mine. And so as I want to look at the statistics of, some stats, this is not a sweeping generalization, so I don't need nobody coming for me in the comments as I say this, okay? Take it easy. But we see some folks from your generation who were raised by fathers that, because your father was, you remember what year your dad was born? If you were born in 54, he had been born in...
I think he was born in 40-something. 40, 30-something, I think. I can't remember. I just can't remember his birthday.
So somewhere around...
I know it was in November.
Right. So somewhere around, like, the first, like, the early 1900s, right? And we're looking at World War I, World War II, Great Depression, all of that stuff. And so your father very well could have been a very hard-nosed, no-nonsense type of guy. That where forgiveness was not a thing, or it's what I say, it is what it is. If you don't like it, that's tough. That's too bad. Like, we see that a lot.
Yeah, and I heard. I got to go back and listen to it. I remember that generation. We had just went through World War II.
Because your father was in the Army too, right?
Yeah, he was in the Army, and the culture at that time was a little different than it is now. And their main thing was the man was the breadwinner. Then what do you call it? I can't think of the word, but things were booming at that time. The Industrial Revolution that's what was happening at that time. So it was a lot. So their mentality was completely different as far as manhood is concerned.
Because the man was seen as a provider, protector.
Yeah, I mean, then at that time, women, didn't have the rights they have today, and it was a big thing.
For sure.
So that's why their minds was like that.
Yeah.
So then passed down to us. And so, like, every generation gets more enlightened as we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why they were like that. My father, if he was like that, I never knew it.
Right.
If my grandfather was like that, I never knew it.
I hear you. Yeah.
Because he was always a cool man. Had his brim to the side.
Yeah. No, your grandfather, your father's father?
Yeah.
Okay.
My father's father. Yeah. And I remember him, vaguely, but he was always cool. But yeah. So my father never had that treat us like that. Even though I'm sure he talked to us about manhood. I mean, instructing us in what to do for our future.
For sure.
But I never remembered him just being harsh.
So let's talk about you as a father, right? Because I remember you coming to us and apologizing.
Yeah.
For certain things. Like, I remember mom doing the same thing. Like, y'all never had an issue with apologizing when you were wrong, right? Or when you felt like there was something that you should have handled differently. Huh? What'd you say? What'd you say?
I'm always right now. Okay.
Sure. Whatever you say.
Yeah, say it.
You say so. Hold on.
I thought I'll let my audience know.
Yeah,
your dad is always right.
You're right until you need to learn how to send an email or send text messages. Or everybody talks about millennials until y'all need to program your TV.
You got that right.
So you need to learn.
You are absolutely right. My patience with this technology sometimes drives me crazy.
Trying to figure out how to post something on Facebook. Then you're not right. You say what you want. I got receipts, okay? But anyway, like you never, at least whenever we were growing up, like now it may be a little harder for you. The more gray hairs you get, the more stubborn you are. But that's a conversation for another day. But like growing up, like I vividly remember you apologizing. Like the first or second episode, we talked about the whole fiasco where I drove the car into the refrigerator and the fridge goes through the wall, and like the pressure that was on you at that time. Like when you look at the broader context of it, like most people would understand if you lost it, if you crashed out at that moment. And once you saw, you very well could have came in the house and saw it and blew up on all of it. You should have cussed us out, cussed mom out. You could have threw stuff. You could have flipped tables. You could have went in.
But hold on, can you imagine me trying to cuss your mom? I thought I can check that.
You probably wouldn't be sitting here to this day. If you,
we both would have been hurt.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Gayla would not have.
Yeah, I just thought I would check that
out. Not at all. We got to talk about. You remember that time? And this is like I just want people to understand the type of like really strong-willed woman that mom is. Yeah. You remember that time you were asleep and you had a dream.
Oh.
You had a dream, and mom was about to leave in the morning, and she's waking you up to tell you bye.
Yeah,
and you wake up swinging and kicking.
Yeah, because I had a dream. I had a dream. These people was after me, and in the dream I opened up the screen door and closed it, and they were trying to open the screen door at the same time. Your mom touches me.
Yeah,
and this thing I know, I went up and.
And you accidentally hit her. And so when you hit her, mind you, you're asleep.
Yeah.
You're asleep, and like it's funny because it's so outside of your character. That's why it's hilarious. But like when you landed a blow or two.
Yeah.
And what was mom's response?
What? Oh, it's like that now?
Because she was ready to start fighting.
She was ready. She was ready.
She was finna fight you back.
Yeah, she was fight back. Now she realized, I was waking up.
Yeah.
And that when I woke up and she told me what happened, I said, oh, baby, I'm sorry. You know good and well that ain't me. And she said, well, what was going on with you?
Right.
I was having a horror dream. So, but yeah,
and she be with it. She has no problem.
And she got it on us.
Yes, love you.
That's my baby though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't trade it for none.
Same. But I don't know how we got on that. But oh yeah, so like in that moment when you came home and saw the fridge and saw the damage to the house, and like Dee Dee's room was on the other side of the garage, and the fridge that kind of went through the wall a little bit, so you could see like a crack in the wall, and like it was bad. It cost a lot of money. Like I said, you very well could have came in there and lost it.
Yeah,
but you didn't.
Yeah,
instead you turned around, got back in the car, and left.
Right? I think I raised my voice, but I don't know what I said.
Yeah, you raised your voice, but it wasn't like nothing.
Yeah.
To where like I can't forgive you to this day. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't nothing like that. Like I remember you were raising your voice, asking questions. Well, why would you let him do this, such and such? Like it was more so geared towards mom, right? You didn't, because you very well could have come at me, and you know what I'm saying? Could have took out your frustration. And at that time, this is why I'm telling this story, is because at that time we were dealing with a lot of financial struggles, right? Financial pressure. And you as a man, you felt like that burden was really heavy on you. So for that to happen, could have been the straw to break the camel's back.
Yeah.
And in some cases it was, but you never, like for you to act outside your character was raising your voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As far as I would go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you didn't like, but that's not everybody's story.
Right.
But even doing that little bit, you left for a few hours, cooled off, and you came back and you apologized. Right? Like you said me and Didi down. And I remember you apologized. You said, "Daddy's sorry for raising his voice. I'm sorry for the way that I handled that." And I guess my question is, well, first of all, I'm thankful that you felt the need to apologize.
Yeah. Because y'all never seen that side of me.
We never saw you raise your voice.
Right.
Like the only time we saw you raise your voice, not like that.
Right.
If we did something wrong, you would kind of raise it a little bit, but that was like a totally different.
My voice would get your attention.
Yes, for sure.
When I changed the tone.
Right. And that was at that point, that was a totally different thing.
Right.
So like my question is, you would have been justified in not apologizing, right? To an extent. But you did anyway. Why did you apologize?
Because I saw the way you all looked, and y'all were shocked. Even to the point where Didi was getting a suitcase.
Oh yeah,
back in her suitcase because she was leaving.
So she was about 7 or 8, maybe 9 at this age.
Yeah,
and she's finna like go somewhere.
Yeah, she didn't know where she was going, but she was leaving that house.
So dramatic.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I because in my heart, I mean, I knew that wasn't me. That really wasn't my character.
Right.
I am who I am. I don't apologize for who I am.
Right.
I am who I am.
Right.
And so I
would say that one more time.
I said, I am who I am, and I don't apologize for who I am.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
People say, "Well, how come you're not like this? Or how come you're not?" That's just not me. I'll do what I need to do, but
sure,
something. So that I had to in myself because I knew you all had never saw that part of me.
Yeah. Had Mom ever saw that part of you at that point?
Maybe a little bit. You know, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's not my character normally. But yeah, I felt like I needed to apologize to you all.
So, what did that apology look like to Mom?
Your mom, she knows that that's not my character. But one thing about her, she loves me and respected me more. To see me do that.
She loved you
and respected me more as a man, as a husband, as a father.
For apologizing. Because, I'm not going to tell Mom's story with her father, but that's something that she never got.
Yep, she never got it.
An apology from her father, who made terrible choices in her upbringing. She never got an apology from him the way that you apologize to your kids.
Yeah.
And so I think that's so powerful, because whenever we make the choice to apologize, we just never know how those around us are receiving that, and how they come to love us and respect us even more for admitting our mistakes and admitting our wrongs. Because so often we think that, well, I'm the man, so I'm always right. we think that is.
Did y'all see his look?
Yeah, they saw it. Trust me, they saw it. But we think that, we're the man and we're the provider, we're the protector, and like what we say goes, and this, that, and the other. First of all, that's something that has to be earned.
Yeah, is
what I learned in marriage. Like when we first got married, like I kind of assumed that was the case, and my wife was like, "Nigga."
I can see Lee saying that.
Like
I can see her expression.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just, because that's what I saw growing up, and I thought that was just what it was supposed to be.
So you saw what you saw growing up. Was that from me, or was that from people in general?
Well, you got to remember that before I was born, y'all were married for 8-9 years, right? And so by the time I was born, and then got to the point where I'm starting to make memories, I saw sort of the dynamic in the household, and permit me to say this, there was a little bit of a hierarchy, to an extent, right? And I saw the way that Mom talked to you. I saw the way that you talked to Mom. It was always loving. It was always respectful. And we treated you as the man of the house. And so that's just kind of the way that it was. We lived in a somewhat traditional household.
Yeah.
And so when I got married, like, I'm just like, well, this is all that I know. So like, this is what I expect my house to be too. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I remember certain times where like she was going to go somewhere and she's going to go somewhere. I was like, no, you're not doing that. No, like that don't like, why would you do that? Like, you're going to stay home and like, it's late at night. Like, no, you're going to stay home, and said what I said. And she was like, who you talking to? And I'm like, I'm talking to you. Like, what you mean? And like, I'm trying to assert my, male dominance or whatever.
Yeah.
Stupid. And she's like, really? Sit down. Like, and she was like, I'm a grown woman. What are you talking about? I'm coming home. It was kind of that thing. And so like, and that was early in our marriage. And it wasn't until like I got to the point to where I was like, again, I understood. I have to apologize for certain things.
Yeah.
Like I have to show myself to where she's willing to treat me in that manner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so said all that to say, like, apologizing, asking for forgiveness, earning the position that you want in your household as the man. You have to earn that. Yeah. It's not automatically given.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And you love your wives. And you respect them, and they're not lesser than you.
Correct. Say that one more time.
Your wife is not lesser than you.
Yep.
When man and woman was created, they were equal.
Yeah. Yeah.
They ruled together.
Yep.
We have this thing now. Our wives are women are, less. You get behind me, you do what I say do. You obey me. All this nonsense. But where there's love, there's respect.
That's right. That's right.
If you love your wife, she's gonna love you back.
Absolutely.
She's gonna respect you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
at least she should.
She should.
Yeah. If you're showing that,
if you're showing that,
reciprocate.
Yeah. I know everybody doesn't
correct
do that, but
and there's a reason for that as well. If they don't do that,
it goes back. Man, there's so many conversations of why things happen, why things are happening in households and relationships, and you have to. That's one thing about therapists. I'm not a therapist by no means, but they always start dealing with why you're like that.
Right.
What is the root? What is your history?
Yeah.
Because they're able to put the pieces together and help you to see why you are the way you are.
For sure.
And to me, that's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
If you receive that, and then they don't just leave you hanging. They give you instructions on what to do and how to do.
Yep.
To make you better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this thing is destroying you inwardly.
For sure. And again, like, whenever you apologize in that moment, because that's not the first time that you apologize to us, but to me it was the most impactful moment that you apologized.
I didn't know it was that impactful to you.
Yeah, it was because like
I didn't remember that particular. I know you remember the incident.
Yeah.
I don't remember you ever saying.
Yeah,
you apologized.
I definitely remember that. Yeah, because that incident was so. Again, it was outside of the norm of what we experienced as a family. So, like, obviously certain events, like, they just kind of stick in your head a little bit more than others. But that's why I appreciated you apologizing so much, because, again, not everybody gets that. Not everybody, like, regardless of whatever level of trauma or abuse or wounds, that could have festered into something much, much worse. It very well could have.
Yeah.
And again, I'm thankful to God and thankful to you that it didn't. And so much so that, whenever I feel like maybe I went a little too far with my kids, like I'll never forget, there was a time when me and Alicia had really difficult conversations around simple stuff like keeping the house clean, right? And we got 3 kids, and she yeah. Let me take a drink on that one. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
And they all on 100 every day.
Every single day. Except my little girl. She's
oh no, she
wrong
on.
thing she do.
I don't know now.
We'll talk
Yeah, we're talking about
we'll
that
talk
later.
about kids and,
Yeah.
and sons and daughters another day. But yeah, she let me know how she was feeling about some things. She felt like I wasn't doing enough and this, that, and the other. And I took that to heart and I apologized to her for that. And I did something about it.
Yeah.
And so when it came down to like me cooking and cleaning and different things like that, things that I saw my mom do, kind of expected her to do the same deal.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, she works hard. You know, her job requires a lot out of her. And I had to understand that and respect that. So I had to make the choice. Like, yes, I'm a man and I consider myself a real man, but I consider myself a real man because I saw her struggling.
Yeah.
And I had to make the choice. Am I going to allow her to struggle and deal with this and have her figured out because I'm the man and this, that, and the other, and I'm not cooking, I'm not cleaning, or am I going to be a real man and step up and help her help her with the kids and help clean up and this, that, and the other. But like, I'm the type where I'm like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm doing it all or nothing. Like I can't halfway do something. And you've affected me with that. And so like I took it to heart. And so like that next day, like I'm looking at recipes, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, and like the kids are making messes, and I'm like dogmatic. I'm a drill sergeant at this point, because at that point I felt like they were causing a rift between me and Alicia. And mind you, they're kids.
Yeah, they don't know.
And so there was one moment I remember where I'm cleaning, I'm cooking, I'm vacuuming, I'm mopping, I'm sweeping. And as I'm cleaning, the kids are coming behind me and making a mess at the same time. And it got to a point where like I kind of lost it. Like, and I started yelling. And I remember like she had just gotten home at this point from work. And like she could see like I'm stressed. And so, and this is when Nuri is just a baby. But like I remember having a broom in my hand, and I'm sweeping and like they're playing with toys and getting all in the dirt pile, and it's just doing the most. And I went in like, and like I raised my voice, but I was upset. Right, because I was stressed out. Me and my wife were not seeing eye to eye, and I saw them as the problem. And when I did that, my boys were afraid of me. At that moment, they looked at me like they jumped and they were scared of me. They were scared of their father. And Alicia saw it, and she had to come and like get in between me and them. And at that moment, I was like, okay, I gotta chill. I gotta chill. And she was like, it's okay. It's okay. I see what you're doing. I see you're trying. It's okay. And later on that night, I sat the boys down and I apologized to them. And by me apologizing to them, Trip, my oldest, you know, he's the sensitive one, right? I'm in mid apology, and I'm not even finished getting out what I'm saying. He reaches over and hugs me. And hugs me tight and says, "You're the best daddy."
Jeez. I could see him doing that too. Yeah. Whew. How old was he at that time?
It's about 6.
6? Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I understand.
His brother Easy may never remember that moment, because Easy at this point was like maybe 3 or 4. But I knew that I had to apologize, because I couldn't allow my kids to see me as a villain, to see me as somebody that strikes fear into their heart. I just couldn't do it.
And you had to learn the balance of being authoritative. Without being abusive.
Dad, say that again.
Being authoritative without being abusive with it.
Talk more about that.
Because God has given, the man carries a certain level of authority in the house. And your mother could say, could call your name in a tone, but nothing like daddy.
Very true.
Like that, nothing like the father's voice.
Very true.
And so A lot of men use that abusively,
Yeah.
and it really doesn't help. And
Yeah.
they abuse their wives
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the children,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they think they the king of the castle,
Yeah.
and they can do that.
Yeah.
But I found that life has a way of humbling you,
Absolutely.
you know, without having that balance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's very important to understand how to use that.
Yeah. And when you recognize as a father who's just taking life day by day, right? Getting in the groove of raising kids and getting in the groove of having a marriage and trying to understand what makes it work and understand the dynamics of your household and setting the tone and the culture for your family. I do think that everything that a man is looking for from his family, you know, respect, and you want influence in his family, and he wants his kids to look up to him, and he wants his wife to place him on a pedestal, this, that, and the other. Like, men have an idea of what we want from our family, but none of that comes, in my opinion, unless we humble ourselves and serve our family and take care of our family and apologize.
This is what Jesus talked about.
That's right.
You know, whoever is great among you, let him be a servant. If you want to be great, learn how to serve.
Yeah.
So if the man is what we may call the great one in the house, or you know, the head, then that man learns what it is to serve his family.
That's right.
To love his wife, to love his children, to sacrifice,
to admit his wrongs,
and walk in humility. Yet, because walking in humility, I don't know if I can say this correctly or not. Walking in humility is actually walking in authority. Because I think if you have humility in your life, that humility itself carries an authority. That kind of thought just kind of came to me.
Wow.
It's something about true humility.
Yeah.
It carries a weight of authority.
So
I have to work in that.
That's interesting, because when we talk about humility, I think that the definition of humility is living in the light of the truth, like sort of holding up a mirror to yourself and seeing your rights, seeing your wrongs, seeing the good, the bad, the ugly, all the flaws, and accepting that as truth.
Yeah,
right?
I had to apologize to your mom many times.
Yeah,
you know, and she the same to me, and we realized that we were in this thing together. You know, and you know, some people say, you didn't never go to bed angry. Yeah, okay, well, all right, what else is new?
Right.
You know, but we've gone to bed many times angry. But when I was wrong, when I realized I was wrong, and then something I already knew I was wrong in the midst of what we were talking about, but I just didn't want to admit it.
That tracks. That makes sense.
And there's something about it aggravating, you know, in back part of my mind, you're like, Rodney, you know you're wrong.
You know you're wrong.
But yeah, so I just, you know, I think it's important that we have a heart of humility.
Yeah.
Because you know, our kids are sponges. They're absorbing everything that's said, done. They're looking. You know, they're looking and observing when it seems like they're not, but they really are.
Right.
You know, so I think that's a great thing. Man, I can just see him doing that.
Yeah. It was. Oh, you talking about Trip?
Yeah.
It was a moment. It was a moment that was an impression on me, and forced me to think about not just fatherhood but life in general, from a different perspective. You know, so again, talking about saying I'm sorry, I apologize. I would almost say that, like, there's a certain what's the dragonfly?
Oh, I was getting ready to turn this table.
It's all good.
Okay.
Right. No, that
all right.
It's okay. It's all right. But I was getting ready to say was, I feel like, well, let me ask you this. Do you feel that there is that, like, saying I'm sorry is similar to repentance? Like, true,
when it's done from
apology,
the heart,
right? Because like whenever we talk about repentance in the church, and as far as Christianity is concerned, repentance, true repentance, is literally turning in a different
Right.
direction and going a different direction, turning away from what you've done, right? And so whenever we talk about apologizing to those that we've wronged, to those that we've hurt, it's not like the verbal act of it is not enough, but
The action.
and literally like making a change
Right.
matters most.
And then making that change is not instant.
Yeah.
You know, you have to work through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, just because, you know, a lot of times people think you repent, you should change automatically. This is not true.
That's right.
You have to work through this stuff.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You know, and it just takes time for change. You know, it takes time.
I agree. So for folks that are still like struggling with this pain that was caused from their fathers, we talked a little bit about forgiveness, the power of forgiveness, and sometimes they don't get that. Well, sometimes they don't get that apology, but they're still having to figure out how to forgive.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times apologies prompt forgiveness, but that's not the case all the time. Sometimes we have to forgive without an apology.
Yeah.
Right? So is there anything that you can say to encourage those that are trying to move forward, those that are hurting, those guys that are trying to figure out how to raise their kids, even though they've been traumatized by their dads, or though their dads wasn't there, it's for whatever reason, and they're trying to figure out how to move forward in life? Like what's something you can say to encourage them to take that step towards forgiveness?
First of all, you need community.
Okay.
Because you can't handle this by yourself.
Okay, so hold on. Let's put a pin in that.
Okay.
Let's pause on that. Why? Because that's a tricky thing for a lot, especially men.
I know it.
It's easy for women to get around each other and they be crying and snotting and it's easy for them to just kind of open up, you know, to an extent.
Men are different. We are different.
So when it comes down to like at least just being transparent and being open with other men, why do you think that can be a challenge? Because I agree, a lot of times we need community to help us.
I think it's a matter of trust. I think we're afraid to open up because we don't really trust. It could be a lot of reasons, but I think when men opening up to each other, there is a degree of trust.
For sure.
To have a group of men, and someone says you're safe. That gives a trust factor in the person that is said to.
One thing I do want to say is I agree with that, that we have to be able to trust, but sometimes it can be hard to trust.
It's hard because life.
Because of life.
Yeah.
And you think about it, like if we're looking at a man that's dealing with trust issues because the man he trusted hurt him.
Yeah.
Right? So that sometimes it'd be hard to trust other men.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
especially if they've been abused and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
And so it's like it's hard to take that step to trust somebody because that sometimes that can be a little bit of a gamble.
Yeah.
So like how can you encourage men to trust?
You have to build it.
Okay.
You have to build up to that.
Yeah.
And I've always said, just because a person says I'm your friend, it doesn't necessarily mean they're your friend, because friendship is always tried.
For sure.
Always tested.
For sure.
You know, and so if you can get through those areas where it builds, you get to the point where I can fully trust you. I'm safe with you. Yeah. I can empty out. I can be accountable to you as a man. If you never get to, you have to work to that point.
Yeah.
And I think by men coming together in community, start at a low level, you know, and just build upon that.
And can I say something? A lot of times, especially my generation, we see that the toxic masculinity has kind of corrupted my generation to an extent. Men, right? Like, because sometimes it can be seen that opening up and being transparent with another man and trusting another man that makes you soft, or
Yes.
that means that you're not being a man, or that means that not trying to. It can be antiquated to say, well, I don't want to get no feelings, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you've been abused by your father or
Right.
abused by another man, where it may have been a sexual abuse, right? Like, they don't want to open
Put
themselves
in
up
that position.
in that position, because it may seem, maybe it may seem to them as like they're trying to
manipulate them.
Exactly. So, like, when it comes down to opening up in that way, sometimes it can be tough for guys. But you're saying that there's power in opening up to a community of men that you trust.
It really is power, and it's something about when men come together, and that love and togetherness and unity is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And getting to that point it's a challenge.
For sure.
It's just a challenge, and it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And I think you can help yourself by number one, God never created you to be isolated. It's not good for man to be alone. He wasn't just talking about marriage; he's talking about man in general. It's not good for God. Didn't make us that way. So that's why the community is important, because, and then that's where love is developed, because you're trying to help somebody, they're trying to help you. Community, you help each other.
Yeah.
You build each other up.
Yeah.
It's priceless. And I think someone said, if you find one good friend in this world, don't ever lose them.
Yeah.
Because you may not never find another.
Yeah, that's real.
And it's very important. I forgot who said this, but the saying is, a friend is a person, and you can take your chaff and your wheat and give it to your friend, and with a gentle breath of kindness, he'll blow away the chaff and gather the wheat into his heart.
Wow.
And that's friendship.
Wow.
To love you in spite of. Love you. I don't care what you're going through, what you look like. I love you in spite of. Having that community is important.
Yeah. So you're saying that, again, I just want to make sure that people are following that community is one of the resources or tools that we can use if we're trying to work our way towards forgiveness.
I could say, personally, I think it is the main thing.
Okay. Just at least, and when we say community, it doesn't mean a group of people. Sometimes that community is one person. You're saying.
Yeah. I think it's, you can't get away from it. You have to have it in order to really, because you cannot get to your future or your success or destiny without people. Even if I mean, I know some people abuse people, they step on people, they don't care about nobody but themselves. They climb the corporate ladder. But in order for them to climb the corporate ladder, they got to step on somebody. Yeah,
whatever ladder.
Yeah, you need somebody.
Yeah.
So nobody's exempt. You need people. And so if a man is carrying that pain and wound in their heart, community helps them to deal with that.
That's right. And granted, we're talking about just people or somebody that wants to work towards forgiveness.
Yeah.
But I don't want to put the cart before the horse, because some people don't want to forgive their fathers, right? Some people don't want to forgive the person that hurt them and hurt their families, because they feel that forgiveness would be too good for their father, right? So what can you say to people who may not want to forgive and who may be living a good life, who may be successful, may have a loving family, they may be doing fine financially, and so they may not see the need to forgive their father who may have treated them wrong or did whatever it is that their father did to them? What do you say to that guy that doesn't feel like he needs to?
All I can say is life has a way of teaching you that even when you don't want to forgive, you're gonna know what it is in this life to be forgiven or wanting to be forgiven. if I'm saying that right.
Yeah. To you're gonna know what it's like to need forgiveness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Life has a way. Life has a way of a full circle, and you're gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
because God never intended for us to be unforgiving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Hmm.
I don't by no means encourage a person. I know the situations that are bad. I understand that.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to get to a point where you have to let that go into a degree of forgiving,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to need forgiveness one day.
Wow.
You are going to need forgiveness one day.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm glad you are able to say that, because like you've lived life, you know, and you're still, obviously you're still living. It's not not like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
done. Right. It's not like you're done. You still got plenty of life to live. But like, I think you saying that is different than if I would have said that, because you've seen things, like you have experience in that. And so like, I'm glad you said that. I just want to make sure that like we cover as wide of the spectrum as possible.
When did you realize that you need a community as far as men is concerned? I mean, after you left to go to college, when did you realize that you needed more than just what your father and mother instilled into you? When did you?
Wasn't expecting that question.
Well, of course. You mean give me questions?
That's a good question. I think once we moved back home from Atlanta, and I felt like I was starting life over again.
Yeah.
And I think that there came a point where I realized, and it took me some time to get there, but once Easy was born, my second oldest, once he was born, I realized I had two boys. I didn't know how to raise two boys.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to help them to be brothers to each other.
Yeah.
Had I just had,
like you never had a brother.
I never had a brother, right? So had I just had a son and a daughter, I probably would have been fine. Like I probably would have, to an extent, not really felt like I needed to find a community.
Yeah.
And so like, it wasn't until I had them two where I was like, I looked at you, and this isn't any fault of yours, but like, and I remember you saying to me at some point, you wish that you and your brothers were a little bit tighter. Y'all are just not getting to the point to where you feel like a part of the family.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But I was like, my dad may not even be able to teach me how to teach my sons how to be brothers to one another. Right.
Yeah, because of my background.
Because of your background.
Yeah.
So for me, I had to make a choice, and was like, I don't want my boys to be inhibited from loving each other, being brothers to one another, through the good, through the bad, showing up for each other, fighting, making up, forgiving each other, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I can show them how to treat their sister.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to do that with another man.
Interesting observation. Yeah, I just never thought you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, it was at that point where I was like, I kind of need some other guys that I can be transparent with and learn from, because there was, you know, as you go through life and you mature, you start to understand that your fathers are human.
Yeah.
And I understood that with you. And there were just certain things that, like, because of your own experience and things that you dealt with, you can't teach me everything.
Right.
You know, and my boys are going to see that with me at some point.
Yeah, and I have to say, you're doing a great job at it.
Appreciate that, Dad. Appreciate that.
You know, when Trip went off to, I think we went to the family thing, and Easy didn't go. He stayed.
Yeah.
But I never forgot the expression on their face when Trip came to the house, came back, and he walked through the door, and Easy's face just lit
up.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
And so did Trip. And they hugged each other. I was like, oh, yeah. You know. And they be at each other almost every day, but they love each other.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, me being in the community that I found was my fraternity. Right. That was something that really, really helped me. And when I thought about it, like, even some of my closest friends growing up, they were either single. They were like, some of my guy friends were single child,
Mm-hmm.
or they didn't grow up in a household with their other brothers, or they had a sister.
Yeah.
So like, even though they were my close friends, we weren't brothers. We didn't grow up in the
Gotcha.
same household. So it wasn't until I got into my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the greatest fraternity, the oldest, the coldest, and the boldest.
Yeah.
Just want people to know that.
There were some folks that you going that. Okay.
Well, hey, that's a conversation for another day. Conversation for another day.
We'll deal with that later.
Conversation for another day. 'Cause I got feelings on that too.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got into the fraternity to where like I was able to be around guys, and I had to deal with how to speak to another grown man that I had conflict with, who had to call my brother, and figure out how to navigate that, and how to apologize, and how to forgive, and all of that stuff. And so that taught me how to raise my boys. And there was an instance where Easy hit Trip over the head with a broom. You remember that? He hit Trip over the head with a broom, and the top of his head is just bloody.
Yeah.
And that was a stressful day.
Yeah.
Because Alicia had took Easy to the hospital because he has asthma.
Yeah.
So she gets back to the house, and she's home for 30 minutes before Trip comes crying and screaming with a gash in the top of his head. God. Because they were wrestling, and his brother hit him over the head with a broom, and it's bad.
Yeah.
And Alicia's just like, what in the world? So she takes him to the hospital, and Ezra's crying, Easy's crying, and Trip is crying. It's a whole thing. And I'd send Easy to the room and talk to him, this, that, and the other. But Trip comes home, and he's got like a little bandage on his head or whatnot. He comes home, and Easy's in his room, and I had them come and greet each other.
Yeah.
And I made sure that Easy understood what he did, to the point where he had to verbalize it.
Yeah.
And I asked him what he did, this, that, and the other. And he says what he did. I said, what did you do? And what you apologize? And when you apologize, say what you're apologizing for. Mm-hmm. Easy's like, I'm sorry. I said, for what? And he said, for hitting Trip in the head with a broom. Mm-hmm. And as he's saying that, he breaks down crying. For hitting Trip in the head with a broom. And like, he was so sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't have to tell him to do this.
Yeah.
Next part. As he's saying that, he goes and he hugs his brother. I didn't tell him to go and hug his brother. He just went and hugged his brother. Yeah. You know, and I don't know if I would have known how to handle that had I not been amongst other men in that community, right? So that's a long way of saying that community helps you in ways that you can't even anticipate. Right. You know, at least being around other people that can help you, that you can be transparent with, where they can, you know, help you to understand where you're right, where you're wrong, how you can get better, where you need to work on things. Like, it's invaluable.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. That's a great, and the thing about it is, as they grow, they're going to remember those times, you know.
Hope so.
And they're going to remember permit me to say, your coaching in the midst of it. You know, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
People that carry deep wounds need community to heal.
Yeah.
You just can't get around it.
Yeah.
You actually need it.
Yeah.
Wives are wonderful.
Yeah.
Family is wonderful, but you need another man. You know, to talk to, to relate to.
That's good.
You know, you can tell your wife, or sometimes my wife tells me things, you know, from a female's perspective, and I'm like, okay, all right. In my mind, I said, I don't know what the slap you talking about. What you feeling, you know? But
with the slap?
Oh, just terminology.
Just say what the hell. It's fine.
No, I'm just used to saying with this. Don't get used to saying with the slap. Oh, my generation know what I mean.
With the slap. Okay. I would say what the hell, but it's fine.
I may say that. But anyway.
But it's a difference. If you say what the hell, you feel like you like cussing for real.
No. I know how to cuss now. No, don't.
My bad, Dad. I'm not trying to try you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't. I don't like that part of me because when it comes out, boy, it's hard to maintain.
I feel you.
But anyway, it's it's very, very important. And that men relate to men. You know, you can't get around it.
Yeah.
And so again, community is important, man.
So in addition to community, is there anything that you would say would be helpful? Anything else you would say would be helpful? Like, let's say you find community, and again, this is for people that are looking to figure out how to forgive their fathers, or how to forgive, period, right?
Yeah.
You're saying that community is going to be helpful for you, number one. Is there anything else that you would say that would be helpful in addition to finding community?
When community is gone, when the voices stop, you don't hear nothing else but silence, you are left with yourself. Because even after community, you're still left with yourself. Okay. And then while you're sitting there processing what was said in community and processing what was going on in the community, you have to, I believe personally, that's when you take that and you take it to God. Because he knows deeper than you will ever know. And when you are by yourself and you are, I've been in a community with men, and sometimes I would go home and I would just weep because what they said touched me, or someone preached somewhere on the men's conference and touched me. And I would go home alone in silence, and I would tell God, I would spill my guts out to him. That alone is a powerful thing. So some people say, well, I am praying. Okay, yeah. So he's answering your prayer by giving you community. So I think it's what was that story? Said there was a man that was crying for help or something, and hanging on a cliff or something, and I can't remember. It's a very familiar story, but he was asking God to help him. God was sending him help all along.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was trying to like cross a river or something.
I just can't remember exactly what it was, but he ended up dying or something.
I know. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So there's a story where the guy was in the middle of deep water and he needed help.
Yeah.
He was asking God to rescue him, asking God to save him, and God sends like a lifeboat over, and he's like, "No, it's okay. God's gonna help me."
Yeah.
And they go on, and God sends another resource. Do you need help? He's like, "No, God's gonna help me."
Yeah.
And he ends up dying.
Right.
And God is like, he asked God, well, "Why didn't you come and help me?" He was like, "What are you talking about? I sent I sent all these lifeboats and everything. What do you mean?"
Yeah. Sometimes God, he answers our prayers, and we think he ought to answer it a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the answer could be right before your face. And because you're not in the place to hear and to see, you lose it.
Yeah.
You miss it.
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah.
So God says that those isolated times when it's just you and yourself, and then your heart cries out to God in a way, Lord, help me, help me to work through this and so forth. And he really does.
Yeah.
He really does strengthen you.
For sure.
So I think community alone is not the total package. I think it's a lot, but I think deep healing really comes when you tell God you had that relationship with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that healing comes in a way that's priceless. And then you find out just how much, how much he loves you. And there are a lot of men can't receive that because they can't receive from God as being father because of the fathers they had.
That is correct.
And it's hard for them to address God as father. They're addressing him as God, the authoritative aspect.
Yeah.
But they don't. It's hard for them to address him as father.
Yeah.
Because when you address him as father, you can't be a father with that relationship without having children.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
So it's important. Wounds, everybody has them. Trauma, everybody goes through it one way or another.
Yeah.
You don't come in this world without it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
But God He's here to help us.
For sure. For sure.
Because He's in the business of relationships, because that's who He is.
Yeah. That's good. Well, with that being said, I think that might be a good place to land the plane.
Yeah.
It's so loud.
No,
it's so loud.
And I try to turn it down.
It's so loud.
But it does the job, though.
Yeah, I understand. Anyway, I think that's a good place to land the plane. Like I always say, we're doing this so that other people get a peek into our relationship.
Yeah.
And they get a chance to see and just hear stories about what has made our relationship what it is. And again, I'm thankful to be able to do this, and thankful to hear your perspective and hear your expertise and hear your experience and offer whatever I can. And so, thanks.
Just to let you know, this wasn't an easy journey for me.
Yeah,
I've had to question God a lot. I shed a lot of tears. I
was trying to bring it to an end, but it's okay.
Oh, but
no, go ahead.
Yeah, but I just, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to think that we just got it easily, because we didn't.
Well, hold on. Let's do it, because I'm editing this as I'm.
Okay.
So let's do this. I want you to start that phrase again, and I'll find.
Which one?
You said you want to let me know that your journey wasn't easy and everything. So start off by saying that at the beginning, and then I'll end it again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't
No, it's okay. I know we're still figuring out the format.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that as we, if we're gonna end it, we'll end it without having something else. And then it turns on into another hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? So say what you were gonna say.
Okay.
And then whenever you're done, then I'll end it officially.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I want to let you know it wasn't an easy journey for me as being a father, as being a man, because a lot of things I had to deal with. But I had shed many tears. I had a lot of doubts. Even when before you were born, and I found that you was coming into the world, I freaked out because I didn't think I was, really capable of raising a son.
Wow.
Because of what I went through. But, God blessed me and gave me the wisdom, and, still giving me more wisdom. But I don't want people to think that our relationship is something that just happened just easily, because it didn't.
Sure.
Just because my father was a pastor and I'm a pastor and you're a man of the cloth now, I mean, it doesn't mean it's an easy road.
Right.
But I'm very grateful for what we have.
Same.
Because a lot of people don't have this.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very grateful for you.
Yeah.
My boy.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. For sure. I'm definitely grateful to be able to do this. Because again, I feel like I would be selfish if we didn't turn the cameras on something that we do on a regular basis and have these types of conversations. And
it's so needed.
It is.
It's so needed.
It is. So I'm grateful that, you'll be 71 this year, but you're still willing to try new things, and you know what I mean, and figure things out, and I'm thankful that you trust me. You know what I'm saying, with the things that we're doing, and this is
because if I did not want to be sitting here,
you would not be sitting here. And we'll get into the nuance of what it's like working father and son, doing things like this, because this is not our first venture.
Especially we'll talk about later how I had to have an open mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And things, the way things are now, and what you bring to the table. Yeah. It's that's another whole conversation.
For sure. Yeah. All right. So that being said, appreciate you. Love you.
Love you too, sir.
Hopefully you got something out of this conversation. Listen, all we ask is that you subscribe, you share these videos if this content means anything to you. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Let us know that you're listening. Let us know if this is helpful. And there's things that you would like for us to talk about as well. Drop it in the comment section. We want to interact with you however we can. And so that being said,
Yeah.
till next time.
Till next time. Looking forward to it. So.
Same.
All right.
Same. Love you.
Love you.